Alright everybody, welcome to Eureka Off-Road. This is part 2 on this here automobile. Pretty much right where we left off before. Still no lower links yet. I cut the transmission crossmember out because we're going to need something different to mount to the... We're going to have to build our own mount for the Dana 20. And I got this seat mounted in here, but found an issue. I'm touching the brake pedal and the seat right now, and I'm just not. I'll crawl in there and show you what's going on, I guess. So as you can see, I'm sitting in here. Here's my feet against the firewall. I cannot physically, I can barely get my foot. When my butt's set all the way back in the seat, as it should be, I can't get my foot up high enough to even reach the brake pedal. And so that's an issue. So let me show you what we're going to do to fix it. So this firewall is not welded on. It's just a hoop of tube. And it's just got 4 screws on either side. And then it's got these little deals that hold the body from it. So that way it doesn't bounce around too bad. So what we're going to try and do is we're going to try to unbolt this. We're going to pull the body off because we got some room to move it forward. The body tapers in like that. And we should be able to push it forward some. And looks like my help's here now. And so me and him are going to pull the body off real quick. And then I'm going to try and push that firewall forward. About 5 inches is going to work. And I think we could possibly push it forward 6 inches. So, alright, me and Tyrell got the body pulled off. You can see. It's not too bad. Me and him was able to just kind of pick and roll it. And then... But, this firewall, we pushed it forward. That's 5 inches. And you can see the difference from the pedal to the... So now I don't know if I'm just gonna flatten this piece out and then build another little kicker off it, or if I'll cut this off, build a flat plate, and put this kicker back on. I don't know, I'll do something. Probably patch up these holes where the roll bar used to be, but it's not gonna interfere with the way the motor mounts land or anything of that nature. It's not gonna affect it. The only thing we might have to change is we might have to cut this hole a little bit bigger for the transmission. But as you can see by where the this floorboard used to ride, it's not going to affect any sort of my safety or floor or anything like that. So, yeah, firewall's pushed forward. I wish it was this easy on everything. Man, I gotta drill this one out. It's not having it, but yeah, this is a whole different ball game. Nice and easy. I like it. All right, firewall's moved, and basically just cut this piece off of here and built a 5-inch spacer, welded it in, ground this one down. I'm gonna leave that one because it's not gonna affect how my foot slides over it or anything. So, and there's the floorboards all done, all bolted back in, and just gotta put the seat back in again. And I'm actually waiting on the seat belt because I believe the seat belt bolts to the same bolts as the seat does. So I might wait till the 5-point harness shows up. And now we're ready to start going with the motor, I believe. Well, it's been a minute since I did an update on this thing. I have been kind of working on it in the background, but I believe where I left off, we didn't even have lower links in this thing yet. So I believe where we left off was I just finished doing this. So that's tip-top shape, whatever. I think in part 1 I talked about these lower links. I couldn't find the right size pipe, which all it was 1-inch ID pipe. So I ended up finding some 1/4 inch wall 15/16 ID pipe, and I'll insert the clip of how I made it 1 inch right here. So I never could find the right pipe. I'm going to show you guys. Here's a really away. Nice pipe that holding the pipe with a wrench blocking it. Nice and easy. Making it the right size. It was 15/16, and now it'll be a nice 1 inch. that nice machine finish. Now, before all you guys go giving me a hard time about taking too much material off this, there was still a ton of material, and these heims ended up fitting real tight. So these are actually the same size as the actual 1-inch ID pipe, so I think they'll be just fine, and they look good, they fit good. Got the fuel tank in and bolted, got the fuel pump in and wired and plumbed. This is what I'm currently working on. Passenger side drop for an axle to replace this one. There's going to be some maybe issues and stuff. This, I'm not ready to do this yet, so that's for another time. And then the other big thing is we got the motor is in and mounted. I built some kind of super hefty motor mounts for it, gusseted it and everything. And then the turning mounts right there, runs across the top, bolts to the transfer case, and bolts to the frame. I just threw some old 35s on there. I kind of want to see the alignment of how the front and back tires lined up. Batteries in and wired with a kill switch. It's got everything. Is run off of this little switch panel right here. Hold it right side up. You got ignition, fuel pump, starter. So kind of nice. Everything's in the water pump and the fan that I don't have yet. So kind of nice. Everything's gonna be run off of that, and all I got to do is run this one cord. I'll get this body lifted up and kind of show you the rest of it here. So I temporarily wired in because I actually got some 110 race fuel for it, and temporarily wired in the ignition box so I could fire it up. Had it running for about 5-6 seconds, but that's the temporary wire setup right now. I need to get like an isolation bar so I can wire all my positives together. But off the other end of that cord for all the buttons, this is what you have: a little relay and fuse box, and then you just tie all your powers in. Feed the box power and ground and an accessory power. And away you go. It worked pretty slick. I was pretty happy with it. And it's even able to control, you can turn the buttons from regular buttons to momentary buttons, so you can run things like the starter or a horn or whatever you want to do. So I do still have all the cooling system left to handle. I got to run it down around through here all the way back, but I've also got to fit a drive line through here somehow. And then of course, like I said, the front end, redo all the, and then building the steering is the other big project I guess I got left. So I'm kind of waiting on that until I get the front end all situated, because obviously this one's kind of built to go around the differential. That one's not going to have to, so I might be able to move it over a little bit, but I can't move it over too much because it might pinch between my track bar if I move it over very much. But if I can move it over a little bit, I can shoot right up through here somehow to get to the steering column. I've got a bunch of steering column parts. I bought a bunch of U-joints. I got some round stock, some pillow bearings and things like that. But yeah, I think the next step is getting the front end in. I could probably build a rear drive line for it, but there's no point in putting a drive line in it. I can't drive it until I got steering, so there's no point in putting a drive line in it until I get the steering front end situated. That's kind of where we're at. Oh, I got the shifter to put in yet, which I think is going to go over on that side, somewhere around that bar. And I got to get a throttle cable whipped up, something I've never had to deal with. I got to run the throttle cable through and all the way over to this side of the motor, which I've never had to do before, you know. Right now this one's got a piece of linkage on it. But I'll probably just come up with a cable to run all the way over here, because I think that'll be the easiest. Yeah. And I was debating on putting, because this front end is going to be a little bit wider than the current front end. This is a first gen Bronco Dana 30, and that's a International Scout 2 Dana 44. And this rear end's already like 6-8 inches narrower. So as you can see, those are pretty backspaced wheels. Those are factory wheels, and they're almost lined up right now. But I don't know. I'm thinking about maybe now the paddle tires that I've been looking at are going to be spaced out even more. They're like 12 or 15 wide rims, and the mounting flange is pretty much the back of the rim, so that'll make a difference. But then I was also thinking about maybe trying to do like a 2-inch wheel spacer back there, bring it out just a little bit, not just will it bring it out a little bit, but as you can see, I've got no inner fender, so I bring the inside of that tire out a little bit, keep rocks out of my elbow and stuff in this neighborhood. I need to come up with a radiator yet. I haven't even really looked for one, but the old radiator used to sit right here. So, yeah, I'll have to come up with that, but that's basically the update on it. This motor runs. I haven't put a load on it. I haven't obviously driven it because there's no transcooler, there's no drive lines. But it is fired up, and it does run all right. Maybe I'll fire it up in the next video. Maybe we'll, with any luck, if it's anything like this video, it's been like a month since I've updated on this. Maybe with any luck in part 3, we'll be able to drive this thing a little bit. So, that's your update. Thank you guys for watching. It's almost mud bog season. It's the middle of February right now. Our first race is the end of April, so that's only like a month and a half away, 2 months away. So start getting this stuff going. I know not everybody has a nice warm shop, but I don't just work in the shop all the time, because I got this thing taking up my whole shop. I get to work outside sometimes. It's always a good time. So, guys, get out there and get your stuff worked on and get it fixed and get it going. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.